And we're live. Hi. Dan does junk. Hello, Ish. It's hot. Yes. Dan is also in Sacramento. It is hot today. And normally I like a good 100-degree day. It's lovely. I'm an August baby, so I'm like, oh, this is cool. It is hot. Today is just, yeah, I agree completely. Can you guys hear me? I have this new lovely microphone. Trying to use it. Okay, so I got invited to go see the Barbie movie on Sunday, and I have a million things that I could wear, and I'm gonna make something else. I was thinking about making clothes for Barbies because that's something I've done since I got a hole in an Easter sock and made something sort of like this. It's hard to see, but this is a ribbed knit, so it's like a sock, and it has this lovely peplum with the matching rib knit skirt. This is kind of what I thought I was making when I was making Barbie clothes. What I was actually making probably wasn't quite that, but in my head, this is what I was picturing. So I gave away all my pretty ball gowns, not ball gowns, but my prom dresses to the library for their prom drive. This one didn't go because this is a Felicia Kelly original. I made this for a collection I did. So this is one of the contenders of what I'm going to wear to the Barbie movie. But today we are making a giant sock dress. I have this, it's inside out, I just washed it, tube dress. It is you can see how lettuce leaf the edges are. It is a ribbed knit tube, which is what this dress is, and which is what a sock is. A stretchy rib knit, which is the perfect stuff for making a Barbie dress when you don't have good sewing machine skills, stuff. So this is going to be my quote unquote sock that I'm working with. And I'm not going to have to worry about finishing any of the top or bottom edges because it is a long enough of a tube and it's already been finished on this edge. It's just been folded over. And same with this. So it is just a knit tube, but it is not my size knit tube. It is very much a giant sock. So that is what we're working with today. Dan does junk. Totally tubular, LOL. Yes. You can actually buy knit in, rib knit in tubes. It's not an uncommon way to. Yes. You can actually buy knit in, rib knit in tubes. It's not an uncommon way to purchase it, but this is just something I had, and I love working with things that I already have because I already have them and I don't have to go anywhere to get them. So I have to take this and I have to make it the right size. Mathing, sorry. I have the measurements because you have to take your circumference, subtract 3. I'm going to subtract 3 instead of 6. 3 what? 3 inches, because here in my head we use the inches systems. Oh no, don't lose that. I can't talk and math at the same time, sorry. 3 inches of negative ease because this has a stretch to it. It probably has 6 inches of negative ease because it can do a really tight stretch, but I want to be comfortable. Fair enough, right? But 3 inches of negative ease is perfectly normal for most general knits. In my head, it's a good starting place. And if you have a woven fabric, I usually start with 3 inches of positive ease for just pure breathing purposes, more or less depending on the garment and style. But so take the circumference, divide it by 3, no, add 3 inches to it, and then you divide it by 4 ultimately. I divide it in half and then divide that number in half because sometimes I don't evenly divide it in half because sometimes I do more in the front or more in the back, depending on if we're doing the chest or the hip measurement. But because we're just doing a tubed ribbed knit that has a lot of super stretch in it, we can literally half that number without having major consequences in fit. So let me get out my calculator. Okay, calculator. So minus 3 equals 2 divided by 4 equals 7.25. I should write these numbers down. I'm just going to write it down here in the chat because it's right here. 7.25. Okay. And then the next circumference, which would be minus 3 plus divided by 4 equals 5.75. 5.75. Okay, and then the last measurement, thank you for letting me use the chat for this, is minus 3 equals that, divided by 4 equals that, 8.25. 8.25. Enter. Okay, I have my numbers, and that should be the easiest part because now I need this. Not this, just this. Okay, so measuring tape. I have my tube. I'm going to do it on this side so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So front, back. Tags go in the back. I'm going to fold it in half because my front and my back are the same size to hold it as nicely as I can. So this is my center front, center back, and these are my side seams. Lay this down flat. Top is this side, bottom's that way. Hope you all are oriented of where we're at on this weird black rectangle that we're about to work on. Excuse me. Okay. What am I doing? Oops, I might be ending the stream. No, don't click on things. Okay. So that is right. It just seems a little small. I didn't add seam allowance. That's why those numbers don't quite feel right. I'm looking at them and yeah, but that's okay. I'm just going to add 1/2 inch to each of those numbers, and then that will give me my seam allowance that I want to work with. Because it's going to add it to both sides because we are working on a fold. So 4.25, so 4.75. Yeah, 4.75 right there. Okay, mark that with a pen. And then I'm going to measure 10 inches down, just because that's an arbitrary, about the right spot. And 5.75 plus 0.5, which would be 6.25. I should double check my math, but it's not that big of a deal. And then dress form to reference. So that would be 9, 7, 14. All right, I'll go down ever so slightly. Okay. And then the hip would be 8.7 inches down from there. I'm sorry, it's hard to math and talk at the same time. Give me a second and I'll explain. And this is 8.25. Yep, that's about right. This number's right. That number doesn't feel right. $8.75 should be right here. Let me check. I just have to make sure I double check this. Okay, so -3 equals divided by 4 equals. That makes a way more sense. The first number's wrong. Okay. Do I have these numbers memorized? No, they always change. Oh, thank you, Danda's Junk. My new mic is great. You sound like you're in the room with me through my headphones. Then again, my headphones aren't cheap. Well, I'm glad you got good headphones. 7.2. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay. Yes, then we're going to come here and we're going to make our way up to there. And I think this is going to go up where I had it. Okay. The total circumference -3 for the negative ease, and then divide that entire number by 4, and then add your 1/2 inch of seam allowance back on afterwards. That's the equation that I'm working with. And I got my first number wrong. So right up here is your underbust measurement. So you can take the underbust measurement, subtract 3, but I am just taking it in ever so slightly from the bust measurement because it needs to be tight. And then going into the waist measurement and then making the way back out to the hip measurement. And I have these little dots to show me the way. I have to make sure that I have the markings on both sides, and I'm going to stitch it before I cut it because this is a knit that would fray, and I don't want it to really fray. So I'm just going to stitch it and then cut away my excess seam allowance and make it super easy on myself. So if I just put my road markers, I can just make my way to each one and take it as I go. Hold on, let me grab. Here it is. Sorry. Has all the things. I just saw it. Found it, and I lost half the pins on it. Oh well. I only need 3. Okay. Okay, so I am going to transfer the marks to this side where I'm only hitting this piece of fabric and not both sides, and then I will release them from being pinned together, and then we'll stitch them. I think I'm going to do, you guys can't see it, number 15 stitch. It is a stitch that both finishes the edge and sews the seam at the same time. So I don't have to do a straight stitch and a zigzag at the same time. I don't have to do 2 passes for one seam. I can do one seam and get my zigzag and my straight stitch at the same time. Okay. Let me keep my... Okay. So I'm trying to recreate the 1950s, 60s solo in the spotlight Barbie. Why that Barbie? Because it was my favorite growing up. I got one of those those reproduction vintage Barbies, and I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite. And my mom made me a matching dress for Halloween that I wore every year that I could. Yes, and so I'm just recreating it because I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that now. So that is the dress that I'm recreating. It is a tube dress, and I think I'm going to taper in as I come to the knees because it comes in really tight and it's a stretch knit, so I still have movement and will be able to walk. I won't be hobbling, hopefully. That's the plan. And then it's going to poof out, and I have just a floofy poofy petticoat that I'm just going to use for the bottom. So that's the game plan. Let me put on my stitch. Number 15 looks like a good one. And just regular tension. I'm going to use the largest version of the stitch because this is a thick, lofty knit. And I don't want it to be too tight. Give me 1 second. I didn't pre-thread my sewing machine, but it doesn't take me very long. Okay. Oh, I fixed it. Yes, I did. Okay. Hold on. I don't want to tangle that up. I know too many people who have these things all tangled up and then they're useless. There you go. Just 1 second. Okay. Yeah, the first number that I wrote down isn't 4.25. It was 7.25, and that makes way more sense. It's okay. I'm not doing a whole ball gown. Well, I am doing a ball gown, but I don't need that much thread. Don't worry, I'm just threading a needle live. No pressure. Dan does junk. I wonder if you'll see anyone else dressed in Barbie garb when you go. It'd be hilarious if a new Gundam movie came out and I attempted to go wearing my full suit. Exactly. honestly, Barbie wore so many outfits that your outfit probably would work as a Barbie outfit. I'm just saying. She's worn everything. She is fashion. Like the first 10 years, she doesn't even really wear pink all that much. So you can literally wear anything pink and feel Barbie. So I feel like Barbie is totally going to be everywhere this summer. It's going to be hot Barbie summer. Okay, let's start. Give it a try on this side. It's going to come in here. This is the really thick part, the ribbing at the top. So this is going to be a little clunky. Just warning you to start. Just a little. All right, so it's already too thick for my feed dogs, but that's okay. Instead of forcing it and trying to push it through, when you're dealing with really thick fabrics, especially knits, you do not want to pull or manipulate the fabric. You want it to be in its natural state of stretch. You don't want it, because it can stretch a lot, so you can fudge seams, but then you end up with really nasty seams. So you don't want to be stretching your fabric at all if you can. So take a couple stitches, lift up your needle. My needle automatically stops in the down position, so I have to physically lift it, but it's just a push of the button. My presser foot, take a step, put it back down, and then it's not going much further, but I can slightly shift it once I get the momentum going, and it seems to be going fine. So we'll just go from there. All right. So I didn't really cut this out. I'm not following a seam allowance. What I'm doing is I have the point that I'm heading towards. So it's like when I sew darts, I start going towards a point and I can curve that line as I head to that point. That's what I'm doing. I'm just slowly driving the sewing machine over to here and keeping it nice and soft and curvy. And then I'm going to curve it back out. I have an idea of what I want it to be, so I just need to do it. I made it to the waistline. Now I'm heading down back out towards the hip line. And I'm not pulling the fabric. I am literally just letting it stay where it's supposed to be and guiding it in, because I do not want to pull and add stretch. And I'm going to aim for just an inch inside of where my hem should be. I didn't pin it, but that's where I'm aiming because I want it just ever so slightly tapered towards the knees. Okay, there's one side. Look how pretty that seam is. You guys can't really see it, can you? There we go. See all the Toby hair? But it's really clean seam, and it's not super stretched out like this seam currently is. So I do not want to start from the bottom to the top. I always start from the top to the bottom because I can always fix the hem, but I want it to line up at the top. Okay, let's do this. All right, I'm stuck at the top again. Just lift it up, take that step I need, and keep going. Okay. Wolverine Scratch. Hey, Felicia. Hi, Wolverine Scratch. Dan does junk. ASMR sewing. I know, right? Huh? Well, I'm all done. I do need to get my scissors. Not those ones. Not those ones. I have lots of scissors, but I don't want those ones. Here they are. I want these ones. Okay. I'm extremely picky when it comes to scissors. Okay, so let me just cut this out. I'm gonna push you over to there. Now stay. And I'm gonna start from the hip because why not? And I could get right up to my stitching because my stitching is an edge finish and my stitch line, so. Wolverine Scratch, pretty in pink. Thank you. I designed this dress. I love it. It's part of my Notions collection that I designed where I made a whole bunch of pieces based off of things you'd find in your sewing bin. And this was the one based off my dress form because my dress forms are. I made my dress forms out of this fabric. And so anyways, thank you. Nick E. I like your cup. Why, thank you. I absolutely love my chip cup. Dan does junk. I actually use scissors for work. Electrician snips. They're small but pretty tough. No, those things are great. I have scissors everywhere. They're my favorite tool. Okay, let me take those out. Where's my pin cushion so I don't just lose these? There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. See how ugly these seams were? I'm just not talking crap. It's just that's what can happen to knits, especially when they get stretched and they curly Q. It's not a flaw. It's just what happens. And look how nice those seams are. They're just laying so flat. Makes me happy. Okay, I'm going to use this dress form because she already has a stand. Come here. I might be able to take this in a little bit more. I was fairly generous. Hold on, I need the poof. I need to add the poof, which is this. You know what? I think I can probably, let me just tweak with it. Where's this lip? Okay. Can you guys, see, I got her. It's the poofy part of the bottom of the skirt. And I have a giant rose that, where's my pen? Right here. And, all right, I'm gonna come back this way. Put everything kind of back the way I had it-ish. But give it a backlight. Do you think I can change these lights? I don't know if it's making it worse or better, but a nice little tube dress. Fits nicely. Has the thing, and then some white gloves and her scarf, of course, and pearls. We need pearls. Then her scarf, of course, and pearls. We need pearls. I have pearls, but they're tangled in string. Shh, don't tell. Scissors. I was using them. For a sewing project. They're really, really nice reproductions. That's bothering me. What is that? Oh, I see. All right. Ah! Margot Robbie can wear that to the movie premiere. I feel like it's perfectly fun to wear to the movie premiere. So I'm going to have to see this movie multiple times because I have way too many Barbie outfits. Yeah. Wolverine Scratch is a sock dress like a slip-on dress. A sock dress is a tube knit dress. When I used to play Barbies, I would make Barbie clothes out of old socks all the time because it is a tube knit. I had a sock, but so you didn't really have to have a lot of sewing skills to make dresses out of them. People make Barbie dresses out of balloons and other such items. So I was kind of taking that, like little kid me used to make dresses like this all the time for my Barbies. Now I have a big piece of rib knit that reminds me of a giant sock. It was all shapeless and stretched out, and I took it in and added some poof at the bottom and this pretty red, can't even see it, red flower, so that it could be the solo in the spotlight dress from the 1950s Barbie. Just add some gloves. I have the little scarf. Yeah. Danda's junk. I can already see you in it with the vintage hairstyle. It wouldn't be surprised if the people at the theater stopped you to take pics with you. Such a classic vintage style. Yeah, Jody did show me how to do my bangs and everything. She did my makeup for that when she did that live stream, which was amazing. So I could recreate that. Part of me wants to like crimp my hair and put it in a giant scrunchie so it looks like Barbie hair, like the crazy Barbie. Anyways, like a Barbie that's been played with way too much, I suppose. Not like that. Anyways, it's been less than an hour and I made a whole costume. I'm kind of like, yay. But yeah. Any questions before I go? Because I didn't think I was going to finish everything this quickly. Now the question is, should I wear the black dress or the pink dress to my first Barbie movie? Because the second one, when I see the movie again, I'm going to wear the other one. Wolverine Scratch, Felicia, Margot's whole career. Honestly, I am so inspired by Barbie. She can do everything, so can I, right? Okay, well, I made a whole Barbie dress. That was fun. That was easy. It doesn't look like a sock. That's good. I have way too many things to wear. Wolverine Scratch, you watching it tonight? No, I'm seeing it on Sunday. I'm going Sunday. I have those tickets purchased. And then I also want to go see it at the bargain theaters, the cheap theaters that they do it on like a Tuesday nights. They have the $5 movies, and I want to go with friends as the bargain bin Barbies. So I feel like the sock dress would work for that, but it's so pretty that I could totally wear it for the first time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I had fun doing it. And now I'm going to go cool off. Bye. There we go. End stream. Bye.